Hello and welcome to France 24. I'm Selina Sykes and I'm joined on set by my colleague Christophe Diremszian from our partner RFI. Thank you for being with us as well.
Hello,
Christophe, welcome. In a few weeks' time, the International Olympic Committee will be voting for a new president to succeed Thomas Bach, who'll be stepping down at the end of his second term. 7 candidates are running for what is arguably the most important job in global sport. One of them is Lord Sebastian Coe, a double Olympic champion, the man behind London's successful bid for the 2012 Games, and the current president of World Athletics. Sebastian Coe, thank you so much for being with us on France 24 from Frankfurt, where the European Olympic Committee's General Assembly is currently taking place. I just wanted to start by asking you quite simply, what motivated your decision to run for the presidency of the IOC, an institution you've been a full member of for only 5 years?
Well, I've been a full member for only 5 years, but I've been involved with the Olympic movement since the age of 11. This is not a job. This is a passion. I was a competitive athlete. I went to 2 Olympic Games. I chaired a National Olympic Committee. I won and then successfully delivered a Games, and I'm president of this central Olympic sport. I have a sports marketing agency that I was in large part the creator of, which is now the 2nd or 3rd largest in the world. And I have also been a government minister. So I think that not only is it a passion, but I've actually had a life of delivery. This is more than about committees or commissions.
Reforming the way the IOC is run is one of your top priorities. How do you plan to involve members more in important decision-making? Will you draw inspiration from what you have done at World Athletics?
I will draw inspiration from every job of delivery that I've done, because I know you do not deliver as a lone wolf. You deliver with teams. I'm very good at creating and building teams. I inherited World Athletics when the sport was really at a critical moment. And in the space of 10 years, we've turned it round to be one of the best governed sports. We've just increased our revenues by 25% in the last year. And as the president of the organising committee in London, you can't bring 11,000 people together in an organising committee without really fundamentally understanding the need to build teams. And that, of course, is the way the athletes operate. And I lean very, very heavily on my athletic and my sporting experience, working collaboratively with coaches for the best part of 15 or 16 years gives you real insights into how you work collaboratively in any environment.
And World Athletics became the first federation to offer prize money to gold medalists at Paris 2024. Do you think athletes should be able to profit more from their performances at international competitions?
That was a very small part of what I was talking about. Understandably, it grabbed the headlines. But look, I'm very clear. It is really important that our athletes become our commercial partners. I don't kid myself. At World Athletics or in the International Olympic Committee, any sport for that matter, our ability to raise funds through sponsorships and partnerships is in large part because of the lifelong dedication our athletes bring to that purpose. And letting them understand that they are not hermetically sealed from the way that we grow and create those opportunities in the sport. So, for instance, I want them to have access to their data. I want them to have access to their assets, much more flexibility in how they are able to promote themselves and their sponsorships during competitions. It is vitally important. I see the welfare of the athletes in 3 very key areas, but they're interlocked. One is mental, one is physical, and you really need the financial safety net that allows those competitors to maybe stay in the sport for an Olympic cycle longer than they would normally have been. And critically, that period of transition where they are towards the end of their career, they're trying to figure out what life looks like afterwards. And that may be about returning to higher education. It may be about learning new and fresh skills. I want them to be given the comfort of knowing that they are able to do that. And I think it's the responsibility of international federations and the International Olympic Committee to try and make that possible. So the prize money was a very small part of what I'm saying, and only for athletics. That's not a one size that fits every sport or every National Olympic Committee.
Another thing we saw at Paris 2024, of course, was a lot of debate about the protection of the female category. Under your leadership, World Athletics has banned transgender women from competing in the female category at international events, and it's also toughened rules regarding differences in sex development. Would you advocate for the same policies if you were to become IOC president?
What I would advocate is for clarity of purpose and codification. And the world of sport looks to the International Olympic Committee to set that tone and that style. The international federations do, the National Olympic Committees do, and critically, of course, the athletes. And for me, this is about the integrity and the promotion of women's sport. And if you lose control of that, then you lose women's sport. And I'm not prepared. I wasn't prepared during my period in president of World Athletics to countenance that. That isn't, for me, that's non-negotiable.
The next IOC president will have to navigate a very complicated geopolitical landscape. The next Olympics are in Los Angeles in 2028. How exactly would you work with US President Donald Trump if elected?
Well, Los Angeles 1984 was my second Olympic Games, so it's a landscape I'm very familiar with. I spend a lot of time in Los Angeles, so I know many of the local politicians. And don't forget, my life in the last 10, 20, 30 years has been about meeting world's leaders. I've done it politically, I've done it commercially, and just in the last few weeks, I've met 2 or 3 very senior world leaders. So this is not alien territory to me. And you have to present the best case you can. But actually, it's critical that those relationships are not just about high days and holidays. The sole purpose of those relationships is to make sure that sport is higher up on government agendas, because the very best economic, social, health policy, certainly one about the growth of nations, is a sports policy. Sport is the best social worker in all our communities, and used properly, it's the smartest and deftest diplomat.
And we have just time for one more question. The 2036 Summer Olympics will be awarded under the next IOC president. Africa has never hosted them, and countries such as South Africa and Egypt have expressed interest. Is it finally time to see the continent host the Olympics?
Look, under my presidency of World Athletics, we've staged 3 different world championships, 2 a junior and a youth championship. We've had cross country. We now have Diamond League, and we have continental tours. So I see Africa as if you couldn't do my job without recognizing the importance to us of Africa. Track and field is a religion in many parts of Africa, and we need to build on that. And I see the Olympic movement and the potential of growth in the Olympic movement being critical, that we get our policies in Africa correct. And it's not just about sitting there saying, well, we hope one day to stage a World Championships or an Olympic Games. You need a proper glide path. You need a proper program. You need proper planning, and you need steering groups to do this. And that will be one of the first objectives if I become president. Africa is critical to the growth of Olympic sport.
Thank you very much for your time, Sebastian Coe, during for what I can imagine is a very busy time for you.
Mon plaisir.
The election for the IOC presidency will be taking place in Greece on the 20th of March. Thank you very much for our viewers for watching.